I think we can all agree that video creation is easier than it ever was, but at the same time, if you don't pick the right tools, you might find yourself falling behind. I've personally experienced how frustrating it can be to work with a tool that lacks essential features, and I've also seen my fair share of tools that cost way more than what they're actually worth. These kind of issues can send your content strategy into a tailspin, which is why I've been analyzing two tools that I've been hearing a lot about recently: Invideo AI and Storyblocks. They both have their pros and cons, so let's get straight into them. Also, if you haven't signed up for Invideo AI yet, you can use my link down below to try it out for free. For starters, I'm going to talk about the price. One thing you guys should know is that you do not need to pay to use either of these tools. That's one of the best things about them, actually. Both Invideo and Storyblocks have free versions for the less financially liquid among us. And while they might not have the full list of features, they're definitely worth a shot. But anyways, my main focus today is the tiers you actually pay for, since that's where the really great features lie. Invideo offers two tiers, starting with their business tier for $30 a month, and their unlimited tier is available for $60 a month. If that sounds expensive, don't worry. I found out that you can get half off if you pay for the year, which means 15 bucks a month for business tier and 30 a month for the unlimited tier. And if you really want to save a ton of money, you can opt in for Invideo's lifetime tiers. They cost $399 for the business tier and $1,099 for the unlimited tier, which is about 2 to 3 years worth of payments to gain access for the rest of your life. Those are some pretty sweet deals, right? So how does Storyblocks compare? Well, based on my experience, Storyblocks offers similar discounts for annual payments. In fact, their prices are pretty much identical to Invideo. However, one major difference was that Invideo's charge $15 a month for their so-called starter package, which isn't quite as comprehensive as the business tier you'd get for the same price over at Invideo. This package restricted you to 5 monthly downloads, which was a bit of a letdown for me. Like, I get that it's not a ton of money, but I was expecting the download limit to at least enter the double digits. Apart from that, you've got the unlimited all access plan for 30 bucks a month, provided you pay, annually. And then there's the pro plan for 35 a month that lets you use the Adobe Creative Cloud plugin. So with all these things considered, I'd say that Invideo deserves a solid 4.5 out of 5, and I'm giving Storyblocks a 4 out of 5. Their pricing isn't perfect, and it's certainly not as convenient as Invideo's, but it's pretty reasonable for creators who are just starting out. Okay, how about we take a look at the features that you'll get? Invideo has a reputation for offering absolutely phenomenal features, and I have to say they lived up to the hype. You get well over a dozen features that add immense value to your content. And as a bonus benefit, they also happen to make content creation as easy as pie. But I want this to be a fair fight, so I'm going to talk about Storyblocks first. You'll understand why in a sec. For now, I'll start with the excellent media library it offers. Like, this library is so massive that you basically have an endless supply of inspiration. And you can also find pieces of media to stitch into your content to make it a bit more enjoyable for your audience. You can also merge videos really easily thanks to a dedicated feature. And with the social sharing options, you'll get to post all of your content to your desired platforms with the click of a button. There's so many great audio tools that you can use to make sure everything's mixed properly, not to mention the impressive syncing features that can eliminate any delayed speech or music. Finally, with the text overlay feature, Storyblocks allows you to diversify your content and start packing in as much information as you can. But here's the thing, Invideo has all of these features as well, plus a whole lot more. That's why I wanted to discuss Storyblocks features first. For real, I was amazed at just how much I was really getting from Invideo, especially when you consider that both tools basically cost the same. Just take a look at the brand overlay feature and you'll know exactly what I mean. This is the sort of thing that can really come in handy when you have a sponsor to promote, and it also helps you create something amazing for your own brand. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know how essential branded content is nowadays, and with Invideo, it becomes as straightforward as uploading your logo and clicking a few buttons to have it overlaid. Also, if you ever had trouble adjusting your video speeds, Invideo's adjustable controller will be right up your alley. The controls are placed very prominently on the interface, and there's a sidebar that allows you to get full control over your final product. And if all of that wasn't enough, there's a video stabilization setting you can play around with. Perhaps most importantly of all, Invideo comes with an AI video generator that just takes the cake when it comes to convenience. Storyblocks just doesn't have anything that comes close to this juggernaut of a feature. And the fact that it lacks basically all of the advanced features that Invideo brings to the table certainly does not help. This guy really is the limit when it comes to Invideo's features, which is why I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Storyblocks gets a 3 out of 5, mostly because the lack of AI video generation made it a pretty boring app in comparison. Moving on, let's talk about the user experience. You can't have a ton of features without arranging them in a neat user interface, right? Well, Invideo is clearly aware of that because they offer an interface that's super intuitive and clean. It took me all of 5 minutes to figure out where each feature could be accessed, and I really liked how they didn't complicate things with nested drop-down menus or anything like that. That's just the first of many things I loved about the user experience though. One of the best parts of Invideo's interface was how it basically encourages collaboration. I don't know about you, but most creators need a team of at least 3 to 4 people to keep up with a busy posting schedule. They're editors, camera operators, and producers that might need access to the works in progress. And Invideo lets you get them on board without a hitch. As a bonus, you also get HD resolution support. Storyblocks has a decent interface as well, but I experienced a bit of glitching here and there, which got really annoying. Like, imagine being in the middle of editing an important video only for the whole app to crash. That can be a nightmare to deal with, especially when the deadline is fast approaching. So try to keep this in mind if you're thinking about trying it out. There were also some performance issues that I came across. The app started to lag when I was editing heavy files, which is kind of funny because that's the whole point of a software like this. But I honestly feel like Storyblocks needs to go back to the drawing board and rework some of their finer details, because they seem to have skimped out on a few of them during their first go. With all that said, I can't give Storyblocks more than a 2 out of 5 in this round. Invideo gets a 4 out of 5 for its rock solid user experience though. That brings their totals to 8.5 out of 15 for Storyblocks and 13.5 out of 15 for Invideo. With extremely reasonable pricing and a list of features ripped straight out of a video creator's wildest dreams, Invideo is the industry's crowning achievement, at least in my humble opinion. The great thing about this tool is that it does all of the hard work for you, and with the AI video generator included in its arsenal, you'll probably have more free time than you'll know what to do with. As for Storyblocks, I was pretty disappointed by its performance. This tool should have given users a lot more than it did for the asking price, and I doubt anyone's going to want to give it a second thought. But hey, maybe your experience will be different than mine. Also, if you haven't signed up for Invideo AI yet, you can use the link down below to try it out for free. And there you have it. Will you give either of these tools a try? I'd love to hear what you think if you do. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next one.